What a fun little hodgepodge of events we have here today. We'll get into this stuff very, very quickly, which I find just absolutely abhorrent, and there's so many different topics, and you're probably, at least aware of them because of the thumbnail, but yeah, I don't know if this one's going to be going up on YouTube. The first video of the day did go up there because it was already pre-planned, and if you guys are also subscribed to the YouTube channels as well, there's going to be 3 Sunday videos that come out unless I start axing that stuff too. But as of right now, I could potentially be in YouTube jail because there was that 28-minute long video where we talked about boosters and having to show proof of vaccination for the Las Vegas Raiders games, New York City with a bunch of fines and stuff. It was from a few days ago, and it got struck for reasons I'm not entirely sure of. I listened to everything back. Unless you take extreme bad faith and understanding everything that I was saying in there, there's no real conceivable way that I could be struck, but this is YouTube at the same time, so I'm not going to be going too hard on everything. We're going to keep it on the up and up, and at least YouTube safe for the time being, but I also want to give you guys a little bit of a heads up just in case anything else also goes sideways. I have dropped a couple of little hints as well, and just going to be advertising it over the next couple of days because who knows where all this stuff is going to shake out. As you guys know, I haven't made a whole lot of allusions to it, but I have whenever we've talked about, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, whenever there's some kind of a, fitness or some kind of health-related topic. My background, I went to school for it. I got the physiology degree to get it. I'm a certified exercise physiologist, a certified personal trainer with CSAP. Okay, that's the gold standard up here in Canada, Canadian Society of Exercise Physiologists. It is top tier. It is nationally recognized. It is internationally recognized, in fact, and that's my bread and butter. Okay, I don't get to talk about it a lot because there's 3 topics in the day, and it just kind of doesn't really fit into the purview of this channel. So in lieu of anything else going down, start a brand new channel that's going to be focused exclusively on fitness, wellness, nutrition, supplementation, and mindset, okay? Because I like to talk about all that type of stuff because it's all about just developing a complete human being. So the link to that description, and we're going to be getting it started here very soon. Mostly I was going to start launching it probably Monday because it was the 1-year anniversary of the main channel, which is still going to be operational in whatever form or function YouTube allows it for the time being. There might be some trims and changes on that, and maybe that's probably what I'm going to be focusing a lot of my Sunday on, but just know that there's going to be some kind of a presence out there. All my main channel stuff is still going to be going up on Rumble and Odyssey, where you guys are obviously watching this stuff, and I'm not going to be giving up on any of the news coverage. I am far too invested of just taking a look at current day sports and news coverage and just seeing that it's absolute dog shit that I need to talk about it. There's clearly a base of people who appreciate my point of view on that type of stuff, and I'd be doing myself and all of you a grave disservice if I'm not to continue that anywhere else. This right here, this channel that you see on the middle of the screen, Don Consuelo's 52 Fitness, DKS 52 Fitness, whatever you want to call it, I don't really care. I like the name mostly because it harkens back to my old personal training business, 52 Fitness, for reasons that we might get into at another date. It's not important. That's just the name of the channel, okay? So it has connections to the main channel itself. It's just going to have a much different presentation because when you are a personal trainer, in fact, you have to deal with a whole bunch of different people. Most people think that a personal trainer just knows about lifts, just knows about, your general workout routine, but you also have to know a lot about counseling. You have to be able to tailor make a program for somebody in order to allow it to stick. You have to get inside their head and you have to make that resonate with them in order for there to be any sort of lasting change. That is something else that I learned a ton of, and something that I'm perfecting as well, because you guys notice that. You might notice that when it comes to the news coverage and the current events coverage as well. That's something. I'm not just bitching and moaning about stuff. It's always trying to provide a solution and trying to provide an alternative. So if you guys subscribe to this channel, which nothing's up there right now and it's not likely to change, maybe I might upload something tomorrow, but what you're going to be expecting is a breakdown on different types of nutrition and different types of exercise programs. The presentation is going to look a lot like this, but the rhetoric itself is probably going to be calmed down. Don't expect any political takes. Don't expect any excessive cussing. We'll just keep that over here. This will just be our little secret, of course. But I just also want to kind of do a little bit of a social experiment Like, I can keep stuff clean. I don't have to swear. I just like to do it because that's how I process thoughts through my head, and then it just comes out all unfiltered. But if I'm breaking down the benefits of vitamin D3, a good probiotic, how to get prebiotic fiber into your diet, and the importance of all that type of stuff, in order for it to get out there to the widest swath of audience and the normies that are out there, I want to see if there's actually like a tangible difference between presenting the content like that, if it gets out there to a wider host of people. If it's the exact same person delivering the exact same type of content, but it's just delivered in a different package, I want to see if that makes a whole hell of a lot of difference. So we're going to be playing around with that. Don't expect daily content, at least for the time being. We're going to see how it goes, but I need to figure out the flow that I want to do over there. But if you guys are interested in that type of stuff, please do feel free. Links will be in the description. But as of right now, let's get back to the news, because holy shit, is there a scattershot full of just absolute insanity going on right now. If you want to enter the United States through either Canada or Mexico, you can't do it legally. Because the U.S. is taking border security very, very seriously on this one. The U.S. extends closure of Canada and Mexico land borders. Why? Because there's too many illegals crossing the border. No, and just fucking doing this for a dog and pony show. Well, more on Canada, because we got a big election update, or at least just bringing everybody up to speed here. But that'll be in the third video. This is the second one I'm recording today. But, you know, yesterday's I just recorded after. It was a good recording session, so I figured to keep everything going, and it ended up working out kind of fine, because then I could just, you know, time that one and let it. Anyways, enough of that fucking jargon. You guys don't care about the back end stuff. You care about the news, god damn it. The United States on Friday extended the limits on travel deemed non-essential to add its northern and southern land borders. Really? Oh, we're just trying to flee. Oh yes, communism has not treated us. Oh, you're from communist place? No, you gotta go back. We won't be having anybody speaking bad about our socialist future here. Yeah, that's even funnier though. Even after Canada started accepting American tourists. So it looks like Biden and Trudeau aren't necessarily on the same page, at least when it comes to this one. But don't worry, Trudeau's going to be locking down the border if he ends up winning re-election. Trust me on that one. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security announced a 30-day extension, saying it was aimed at minimizing the spread of the virus that causes... Who gives a fuck? In coordination with public health and medical experts, driving trucks and vehicles across the border apparently spreads the virus. You're really smart. Remember how they were saying they weren't making a centralized database? That was a lie. That was very much a lie. Connecticut allows patients, you should be able to if you're a patient, they're doctors. That makes sense as well, because if you're going to treat somebody, you should probably know their medical history. And local health officials. Big red fucking flag. To access COVID-19 vaccination records. Even bigger fucking red flag. Okay? Does anybody see the problem with this? Or maybe you guys probably don't see the problem with this. This is more or less just kind of a natural extension of things. It's like, oh, okay. 15 days became a month, then became 2 months, and then became 18 months. And then you have a choice to get the jab, then you have your choice of which jab you can get, and now it's everybody has to get the jab in some form or fashion. So congratulations, we've ratcheted up just a little bit. Connecticut Governor Ned Lamont issued an executive order. He really does look like Lindsey Graham with AIDS, so maybe we should take a look at one of his medical records. Issued an executive order that allows patients and their doctors to access patients' own COVID-19 vaccination digital records stored in the state's information system. Oh, but we don't store any kind of digital record of your vaccination. We don't do that. The order also permits local health officials and school nurses to access the vaccination status of people in their communities. We got the door-to-door. They're not bringing the needles to your home yet. They are just making sure everybody's aware that you can go literally everywhere and get the jab. Remember that door-to-door campaign? They talked about that a couple months ago. That's still going on. Don't know where Kamal is, but that is still going on. Connecticut state statute currently prevents vaccination records from being released to patients and healthcare providers, the statement said. Oh, okay, but you can still access them because executive order and public health emergency. Okay, cool, got it. Healthcare providers will be allowed to see their patients' vaccination history, for example, if they need to administer vaccine boosters. Oh, okay. Instead of keeping track of their own, the statement said, local health authorities will be permitted to access the vaccination status of the people within their jurisdictions to assess the vaccination status of their community, the statement said. According to the statement, many communities in Connecticut are still below herd immunity thresholds because those keep changing all the time. I'd imagine there's going to be a bunch more states that are going to hop on this bandwagon. Nothing yet, but apparently Marna Borgstrom, CEO of Yale New Haven Health, said in a statement, vaccinations are only safe and proven way to end this pandemic. Cool, keep shifting the goalposts. How about shifting over now to the Supreme Court? And oh boy, is Amy Coney Barrett just what's the nicest way to put this? Blithering cunt. I think that's about right. Wouldn't take up the mask mandate for University of Indiana. Okay, just completely passed on that. But she's hitting with the hard stuff. Supreme Court Barrett denies attempt to stop Obama library construction. That goddamn library needs to be built in the name of Barack Obama. Fuck off. If I ever said anything nice about this useless bitch, take it off the record. She is literally John Roberts with a wig. Tits are about the same size too. What about the Taliban though? Let's briefly touch on this because honestly, I just like to take a day off and thinking about these fucking beard-bedecked clit removers. Taliban accused of brutally killing, torturing minority group men. From Amnesty International. Gross. Taliban extremists brutally massacred several members of the minority Hazara community after taking control of Ghazni province, according to recent reports from human rights organization Amnesty International, disputing public claims that the Taliban will provide amnesty for certain groups after taking over Afghanistan this week. On the ground, researchers spoke to eyewitnesses who gave harrowing accounts of killings, which took place between the 4th and 6th of July. Oh, they got to celebrate Independence Day, my friend. Off with his head. In the village of Mundakrat, Malistan district. It's a beautiful language. Said Amnesty International, 6 Haraza men were shot and 3 were tortured to death, including one man who was strangled with his own scarf and had his arm muscles sliced off. Ugh, Jesus. That's normally what I think about men who wear scarves, but yeah, that's fucking brutal. Amnesty noted the Taliban's killing likely represent a tiny Not everybody that they take under capture is going to face the same grisly fate. No. This is the new reformed Taliban. These cocksuckers are going to line up and start saying, you know what, the Taliban's not that good. They're going to start parroting all the propaganda talking points and say that, you know what, America and other Western democracies should start adapting and should start adopting some of the policies that the Taliban are after. You watch. You fucking watch. The killings likely represent a tiny fraction of the total death toll inflicted by the Taliban to date, as the group have cut mobile phone service and several other biceps in the area they have recently captured, controlling which photographs and videos are shared from these regions. Yeah, classic dictatorship move. Cuba did the exact same stuff every once in a while. Venezuela, Honduras does the same stuff. So yeah, it's very obvious. But according to Joe Biden, Biden says that there's no indication that the Taliban are preventing Americans from escaping Afghanistan. Oh, okay, maybe he's just referring to the straight ones. We all knew Joe Biden's position on gay marriage before he assumed any sort of public office. But yeah, hey, it was about the same thing that he thought about blacks and whites getting on the same buses together going to school. On Friday, President Joe Biden issued a speech in regards to the current state of evacuations of American citizens in Afghanistan, saying that the Taliban, they're just a little bit misunderstood, man. Saying that the plan is to trust the Taliban will let these Americans out. It seems to be working well. Leaving the briefing room after answering a few questions from select reporters, Biden was bombarded with the question, why do you continue to trust the Taliban, Mr. President? When asked whether he would send troops to Kabul to help American citizens, he didn't have a response to that, by the way. He just walked out of the room because he's the adult in the room. American citizens get through the airport, Biden claimed. He's seen no indication that the Taliban are impeding access. Just all the bodies and like 12 people that have been reported shot dead outside Hamid Karzai Airport in Kabul. They aren't really stopping anybody from getting on those planes, right? Yeah. God, you're so smart. But now we got to talk about the main event of the evening. We got to talk about the new revelations from the FBI and things that they found out and things that they aren't going to take a look at. And you can bet your fucking bottom dollar on the fact that Ashley Babbitt is never going to find justice. Well, at least her family. It's going to be a little tough for her, for the only person who was actually violently killed at the Capitol that day. Everybody else, extenuating circumstances of different varying medical procedures, and then a couple of Capitol Hill police officers afterwards Records decided to start a buckshot. Capitol Police officer who shot Ashley Babbitt cleared an internal probe. Yep. A name that you can't say on YouTube that we all know and that it tweets just like a little flying creature. Let's just say that might be his last name or something kind of spelt, at least adjacently to that. A memo from the commander of the Capitol Police Office of Personal Responsibility said that we're not taking any responsibility on this. Okay, cool. An internal Capitol Police memo states that no further action will be taken after the officer who fatally shot Air Force veteran Ashley Babbitt was formally exonerated of use of force according to the department documents obtained by NBC News. And I'm sure that they probably just had a big old fucking parade and they probably had cheerleaders in the background. It's like, oh, the MAGA rat is dead. They're just a bunch of fucking creeps. The unnamed officer, we know his name, in question, who killed Babbitt outside the door of the Capitol during the January 6th riot. It's been called a breach now, and it's just kind of just ended up being devolved to violence outside the Capitol. But don't worry, it'll just get ramped up again, because don't you remember that very suspicious terrorist who definitely 100% had a bomb outside the Library of Congress? Oh wait, he didn't have a bomb whatsoever? Oh, okay, cool. And he was definitely not putting on a fake southern accent. Okay, yeah, cool. But anywho, according to NBC News, a memo to the commander of the Capitol Police Office of Personal Responsibility states that no further action will be taken in this matter. Godspeed. Hopefully the super corrupt Washington, D.C. courts will end up releasing that name. That something can be done for her family, because, I don't know, a miscarriage of justice. We know every single fucking police officer who ever shot at some criminal fucking fleeing or in the midst of beating up another police officer. We know all of their names, but yeah, this dude who actually shot and killed somebody that happened to be a Trump supporter, yeah, we don't know word one about it. Officially, at least. Bags of shit. But how about the FBI proper? How are they going to spin this one? FBI finds no evidence that Trump and his allies were directly involved with organizing the violence of the Capitol riot. So there goes that narrative. Okay, this is shit that everybody already knew from a long time ago, because they could do just, I don't know, basic plot or basic points on a fucking timeline, okay? Trump's speech starts to wrap up, okay? Breach happens at the Capitol, a 20-minute walk away. 20 minutes later, Trump's speech concludes. Everybody peacefully and normally, at a normal pace, walks to the Capitol to see what the hell is going on, and violence and craziness has already ensued. We've already seen all of the undercover Antifa that were there. John Earl Sullivan, you know, the CNN contributor who was there and is a devout Antifa member. All of those people that were actually in there, there was always some indication that, you know what, maybe some of these people were just kind of put there, or maybe, I don't know, flying a false flag or two. But yeah, couldn't really put your thumb on anything of that nature, of course. It was just all speculation. And sure, were there a couple of people being herded in there by somebody breaking a window? Of course, that's human nature. I can't discount the people who got wrapped up in the situation and also went inside and question their motives and call them stupid because of it. But with that said, Trump and everybody organizing the, MAGA rally that day had nothing to do with anything that went on. So how are you going to continue pushing the idea that January 6th was an insurrection? You really can't, unless you're completely devoid of logical thought, which Democrats are pretty full up on. The FBI has not found any evidence that the January 6th assault on the Capitol was a part of an organized plot to overturn the election results. Yeah, no shit. The report also said that the FBI has so far found no evidence that former President Donald Trump or people directly around him were involved in the organizing the violence. Very good. 90 to 95% of those are one-off cases. Very good. But what about those other 10 to 5%? A former law enforcement official familiar with the investigation told Reuters there's no grand scheme with Roger Stone and Alex Jones and all of the other people to storm the Capitol and take hostages. Alex Jones got on, okay, I've seen the video and I find him immensely entertaining. He hopped on a police vehicle's roof with a bullhorn and he was saying, "Don't go, turn back, nothing good is ahead for you," trying to keep people away from the Capitol. But yet he got swept up because he's Alex Jones and we've pilloried him for years as being a conspiracy theorist. It's really, really shitty that conspiracy theorists are more or less just kind of spoilers at this point. But hey, maybe that's always just been the case, and the invention of the internet, maybe that's why they're just clamping down on all sorts of theories and ideas and freedom of discussion and discourse out there. That would make a whole hell of a lot of sense. More than 570 participants have been arrested by federal officers. Okay, but most of them have received plea deals, and the ones who are still being incarcerated are disproportionately affected by solitary confinement and inhumane treatment. But nobody wants to talk about that. And even when like Matt Gaetz and Jim Jordan and Marjorie Taylor Greene try to hold a press conference on the issue, yeah, they get shouted down by a bunch of really organic protesters to the fact that they want to take a look at prison reform. It's weird how ideologically possessed these fucking people are, but let's wrap this one up. A Democratic congressional source told Reuters that senior lawmakers have been briefed on the FBI's investigations, find the results credible. Okay, keep that in mind. A Democratic congressional source told Reuters they find the investigation results credible. If they continue with any of the rhetoric, with any of those fucking commissions on January 6th, and they keep pushing the lie that Trump was behind all this, you got it right there. They're fucking brazen liars, and I don't put anything fucking past them at this point. They've got all their apparatus, okay? They have their big tech overlords censoring any sort of dissenting opinion, and I'm not just banging this home because currently, who knows if I'm under the thumb of it or not. By the time that we're done recording everything today, might have an answer. Don't know. YouTube takes their fucking time when it comes to this stuff. I think I was incorrectly struck, but hey, that's for, nameless, faceless people to decide on nameless, faceless accusations. Maybe my real last name is Babbitt. Who knows? But yeah, that's the skinny on the United States right now. Whole bunch of idiots just at the controls. Basically, you already knew that with Biden. You already knew that Amy Coney Barrett wasn't going to do anything of substance. She has always been on the side of lockdowns. You just take a look at her history. Ever since this started, she has always erred on the side of caution, which should have been a bigger red flag. I'm glad I was at least a little bit skeptical of her when she was being appointed. Barbara Lagoa would have been so much better. Don't let that one go. Thanks, Mitch. And really, it looks like the United States, well, at least the Department of Homeland Security, is really taking border security safe, or really taking it seriously, trying to keep everybody safe by locking down all those legal people trying to cross the northern or southern borders. You guys are doing yeoman's work. Oh, let's talk about an even bigger embarrassment, shall we? Yeah, the snap election and Trudeau's campaign so far. Oh boy, is it a fucking winner. With that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Catch y'all later.